a soul train.
It's time to play ball. Welcome to the podcast with no limits. Whether it be sports, current events, or random thoughts, this is the place to step in and stay a while. Your host is a proud alumnus of Rio Hondo Prep, a former minor league baseball umpire, and a man with strong opinions. Welcome to the Get Home Safe podcast and your host, Matt Hersema.
Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Get Home Safe as we inch closer and closer to Super Bowl 56 here on the Get Home Safe podcast here in Southern California, the greater Los Angeles area, about 25 miles or so from SoFi Stadium. If you guys heard the intro music there, you're kind of like, what is that, Matt? I've been trying some different intro musics here and there for depending on the occasion, right? A lot of Rams music, a lot of I Love LA music, because we love LA sports here, not other sports from other teams, other cities and stuff. We root for LA sports. Anyway, for those that don't know, for those that didn't recognize that music, it was none other than Soul Train. And yes, I know a lot of you are like, Matt, Soul Train, what's going on here? Actually, it's a tribute to our guest today. We're going to be joined by my very, 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 very good friend, Mr. Dale Gardner, who is a college baseball umpire, a huge Rams fan, and back in the day had an appearance or two on Soul Train. And we're going to have him tell you all about that, growing up in LA, how he got into umpiring, just life's journey, really. And Dale is significantly older than me. Not a dig at him. He's in great shape and just a guy that is someone who I love being around. I have enjoyed every moment I've had with Dale on the baseball field, off the baseball field. There's been plenty of both. And he's going to share some stories today about our interactions, because it seems like every time we got together on a baseball field, something went wrong. And by wrong, I don't mean a bad call, but just an event, an ejection, a story. So we have a ton of those to share. Dale's been a Rams fan his entire life, way back to the 70s when they were making a great run. He'll tell you all about his heartbreaking losses he's experienced as a kid, a young man, and now as an older gentleman. To see the Rams, the LA Rams in Super Bowl in LA has got to be so much fun for him. But I do want to hear some Soul Train stories. I've seen the videos of Dale getting his groove on. It's pretty awesome. And we'll definitely talk about that. You gotta push him, because he's very humble. Oh yeah, it's something I did back in the day. Man, I'm like, Dale, come on, man. Tell me, what was it like, man? Tell me. So anyway, today is Soul Train, LA sports, LA Rams, college baseball umpiring, a lot to get to. So let's bring in my dear, dear friend, Mr. Dale Gardner. Okay, you heard his Soul Train intro music. He didn't hear it, but Dale Gardner, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, it's great to be here, bud. It's awesome.
Dale, man, I the only thing I miss about baseball is working with guys like you, my friend.
Yeah, well, hey, same here, man. It's doing this for so long, you really look forward to partners you really get along with and have fun with. And you're one of those guys, man.
Oh, likewise, man. We have plenty of stories. We met way back in, 2010 or 11 at Pepperdine.
Yeah, that's right.
We worked an alumni game.
Alumni game. Yeah. We were happy to get paid. I think we only got a couple of $100.
Yeah.
But
it was awesome. Nice.
Yeah.
And it was all a goof there. I mean, alumni, I think they played 7 innings because they were all, drinking and had to get to their banquet. And then I remember that last inning, there was like 30 guys in the alumni. They put all 30 guys in the infield and outfield while the Pepperdine team was batting. Yeah. And I swear there was a ground ball that got through all those 12 infielders.
It didn't help that they probably had a few beers too many. But it was fun, man. I had a great time that first day. And I guess we just clicked after that, man. We've been friends ever since. I mean, and then we had a few more games together, and it strengthened the friendship.
Oh, big time, man. And yeah, even though baseball's over, friendships continue. That's the best part of baseball. And we'll get into all this umpiring and our LA Rams are in the Super Bowl at home in LA. Look at you,
Rams, baby.
LA Rams. I love the shirt. This is one of the many reasons we click. But so a lot to cover, Dale, where you grew up in LA, LA sports, the Rams, umpiring, but something I tease you about and always want to know more about, me and my friend. We got to know about the Soul Train. What's the story behind being on Soul Train all those years ago?
The story, like how I got on, or
yeah. How'd you get on? How long were you on it?
So I had a few friends that had just started to go on the show, and they were new friends, and we'd known each other for a couple of months before the show was like off the air, because they only air a few months a year, and they put all the shows together for one weekend. So each weekend you'll have a slate of shows. In other words, if you worked Saturday, if you performed Saturday and Sunday, and if you wore the same clothes, you would wear the same clothes the whole month. So you had to also change and do stuff like that. So just give you an idea of how they tape the show. So some dear friends of mine who are still my friends, we actually go to Vegas to CES every year, and they got me on the show. So it was like 1982. And I was on the show from 82 to maybe 88, 89, I think 88. And it was a blast. Yeah, I've never had so much fun. And it is boring at times because you're standing around waiting for the production side of it. But you get the mingle, there's a lot of very attractive women there. You're hanging with your guys. So it's like a bar scene without the bar or the drinks.
Okay.
Without the alcohol. But we had laughed and talked jokes and bagged on each other and worked on steps, and we would go to our apartment and work on moves, and it was just fun, just dancing around and having a great time as youngsters. I think I was 21. Yeah, I was 20. I was 21 in 82.
Young guys in their 20s, what could go wrong? Having a good time, a lot of good fun, and oh man, that's great.
I had all my hair.
I know. I saw the photos. Hey, I'm catching up to you, man. I'm trying. I'm gonna go all the way real soon.
I always felt if Michael Jordan could do it, so can I. What the hell?
Oh, I like that. I like that a lot.
He looks good in the football head. So
hey, tell me. So for those that don't know, I mean, I didn't watch it. I know what it was, but what exactly was it? Was it just a dance show? What exactly was the theme, I guess, or how it all worked?
Well, it was a dance show, and they had performers. They would probably have in a show 2, sometimes 3 performers. They would do special performance for like big time artists like Stevie Wonder, Gladys Knight, and Marvin Gaye. So they would have those special ones where they kind of feature that big performer the whole entire time. And I get more people talking about the dancers than the actual performers on the show. And there's quite a few famous people. I'm gonna tell you right now, I was just saying this yesterday, if they had social media like they have now, I'd be rich and famous. Hands down. Because I know I would have a lot of YouTube followers. I just know it.
Yeah.
And being on the show, and believe it or not, there were guys who actually were famous without the social media. So that select group would have been even more famous.
I've seen the moves, man. I've seen the moves, and I know it's been a long time, but when I seen you do a few strike threes. I see a little wiggle in there. I'm like, oh, I know where that's from.
Yeah.
That's 30, 40 years ago or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Yeah, I can move my feet a little bit. I mean, I'm not the greatest dancer in the world, but I can do a little bit.
Oh man, I love the
it's
footage.
A lot of fun though.
It's fantastic. The footage is great. I'm like, that's Dale, man, looking sharp.
Yeah. Back in the 80s with the Jerry curl. Everybody always said, oh, you had a fro. I'm like, bro, that's before my time, man. I was probably 12 when those guys were going off. So no, we didn't have the fro. We had the Jerry curl here in California. And I know back east, they kind of laughed at us wearing the Jerry curl, but that was the thing out here in California. So we had our hair slicked back. They always called me like El DeBarge or one of the DeBarge with my hair and everything. But it was a lot of fun, bro. It was just a blast. I wouldn't change a thing.
Well, and like anything, baseball, Soul Train, going to games as a Rams fan or whatever, it's all about the memories and the experience, things you look back on. Oh man, but I got to tell you, Dale, so you're on Soul Train, you're in your 20s. First of all, 82, I was -3, by the way, just throwing that out there.
Throw that out there. Make me feel
born in 85.
Huh?
Yeah. I always got to jab you. But man, to be in your 20s in the 80s, that sounds like a great time. The Lakers are winning 5 titles. And
it was wild.
The Dodgers.
The Dodgers in 88. Yeah. The Rams didn't do too well. They were in Anaheim at some point. They went to Anaheim. They were a decent team. But the 80s was amazing. Okay, so it was the beginning of the internet, which no one really, other than corporate, sort of used at the time. We had Walkmans. Everything was video cassette tape. That was top. So we were making that transfer from albums to video cassette tapes. Mm-hmm. The video recorders were about that big.
Yeah, the giant.
You held it on your shoulder. And it was like, that was state of the art, bro. It was like that. If you had one of those, you were the man. Mm-hmm. And if you had a cell phone, the cell phone battery, you had to carry in a little bitty suitcase. It was about this wide, about that narrow. It had a cord going to it, and the phone was about, let me see, it was about that big, and it covered your whole face, right? But if you had that, man, if you were the man, you were the Superman. Ooh. The major wealthy people had that, and all the dope dealers had it. So in my neighborhood, and it was a status thing. And it's sort of kind of like the phones are today, but everyone has them now, so they're so cheap.
Just man. The Dodgers winning 2 World Series in the 80s, and then the Lakers 5 titles, but then they're in the finals every year. I mean,
we went to from when Magic got on the scene to win his last finals in '91. We went 9 times. Think about that. If Magic would have went undefeated, he'd have 9 rings.
Oof. Good times. That's all I got to say.
So, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, man. I'm not this, and it's fun to talk about it in the barbershop and, on ESPN, but I'm not about this GOAT stuff.
Oh,
I'm
really?
I'm going to tell you why. So, so this GOAT kind of thing kind of started with Jordan. He was winning championships in the 90s. So he's considered the best basketball player that, this generation have seen. And that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. But to say he's the greatest of all time, I disagree with that. Because he started in the 80s. His rookie season was 84. Was he the best in the 80s? No. Magic and Bird were the best players in the 80s. Was he best in the 70s? He wasn't even in the league. Dr. J was the best player. Kareem was the best player at that time. So how can you rate someone who's not there? And on top of that, they're played under different rules.
Yes.
You can't say the same rules are for Wilt or Jerry West or Pettit or all of those guys and say they went under totally different rules than the rules today.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know how in a football game the defense can survive the offense. With all the rules that's for the offense, the defense has a hard time covering receivers.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I'm like, when they do it, I'm like, these guys are amazing.
Mhm.
They don't get the credit for that.
No, that's a really good point. We get in the GOAT talk all the time, especially with Brady just retiring. And I'll say this, you know, baseball's kind of addicted to stats. So
Yes.
I kind of see, well, he was better than so-and-so. Basketball, you know, it's mostly about scoring and, you know, you play on offense and defense, but
Yes.
there's still different positions. So to your point, I think it's hard to be like, well, what about Bill Russell versus Michael Jordan? What about, you know, Wilt Chamberlain versus LeBron? Like, they're completely different positions. And yes, you put the ball in the bucket, but I love the comment about different rules. I mean, we're talking 3 seconds in the key that didn't exist, or you know, widening the lane, 3-pointers.
Oh, hand check.
Hand check. I mean, you can't touch anyone.
The game was much more physical in the 80s.
Oh yeah.
And go to if you're listening to this broadcast, go and see the Lakers versus Boston. I think it was game 5 or 4. I can't remember the game. It was 87, 80. I think it was 87.
When Rambis gets clotheslined?
Yes. Kurt Rambis goes up for and he gets murdered. And you know what it was? It was just a common foul.
Common foul.
And no one got ejected.
Yeah.
If that would happen today, it would be a flagrant 15, and there would be lots of people going in that game.
Yeah.
So
No doubt.
how can you say, if I never had to go experience that, how can you say I'm better? I mean, we have this conversation all the time in my backyard with these young kids. And how can you say someone's better than someone else when you've never seen the person you're saying they're better than?
It's a great point. It's a really good point.
It's now it's fun to talk about, you know, and have these sort of debates about them. But let's get into reality. None of these players played in the 40s. None of them played in the 50s, and they didn't play in the 60s or the 70s or the 80s or the 90s.
I think, yeah, maybe a greater title would be greatest of their time, not all time, because like, you know, like LeBron and Kobe, they played in a similar era. Okay, you can debate that, but yeah, to go to football, for instance, you know, Tom Brady, greatest of all time, you know, whatever, 7 Super Bowls, hard to argue that. But a quarterback has nothing in common with a defensive lineman. You know, a running back has nothing in common with a free safety. Like, football has all these different positions, so it's hard to be like, he's the greatest football player ever when it's like, well, wait a minute.
And Brady never played defense either. But okay, but let's just go quarterback to quarterback. Let's just do that real fast. So we're going quarterback to quarterback. So let's talk about some of the rules. Well, today, if you run out of the tackles and you throw the ball into the stands, that's legal, right? Right? As long as you're not between the tackles. That wasn't the way it was in the 70s. If you ran out between the tackles, you better throw that ball close to, because you got intentional grounding. And if you didn't, and you couldn't find someone, and you got murdered by those linemen, by the defense, you know, how they protect the quarterbacks these days. Man, Terry Bradshaw didn't have that. You know,
almost every highlight of Terry Bradshaw, his helmet's like crooked. And
did they listen? Sliding? What you talking about? Sliding? There's a video where the Chiefs quarterback Lynn Dawson slides or falls down, and one of the Raiders, Ben Davis, I think it was, he just it was like he jumped off a diving board and just went straight into Lynn Dawson's body. Now, the players protected Lynn like they're supposed to, but it was legal. How can you say that? If Brady played in that time, ain't no way in the world he'd have lasted 45 years old.
No.
No way.
No.
You got to remember, in the 70s, you could put a cast on your arm, wrap it with tape, and then hit somebody, and punch him in the head. I mean, go back and look at video. You could clothesline dudes. There was no horse collar. That all these rules. I mean, you could even talk about basketball. I mean, the rules are completely different. How can you compare? There is no comparison. Now, I will admit, Michael Jordan was the best basketball player in the 90s. Hands down, 6 rings. He was the bomb in the 90s. No one better. But that's a decade, not of all time.
I love
that
it.
Would be like that to me would be like take the fastest racing car in 1908. You're at Indianapolis 500. You got the fastest car. You win championship after championship after championship. Correct? Right? Now take the car today and say this car was better than the one in 1908. Of course it was. There is no comparison of the two. So how can you make that comparison?
You're pretty good at arguments, Dale. I think you've had a few on a field before.
Oh yeah,
that it must be where it comes from.
Yeah, my wife says example. I never shut up and I talk too loud. I can't argue that though.
No, right. That's fantastic. Oh man, where do we go? Well, man, we've already hit the 80s and Soul Train. We got a long road ahead of us.
Yeah.
Hey, Dale,
let's talk about Rams. Let's talk about Rams.
Let's go to the Rams.
Let's do this. So I'm gonna tell you when I started loving the Rams. It was my dad was a big Rams fan. He was from California. Well, actually, he's born in Denver, but he moved out here as a little child. So he spent all of his life here in California. So he was a big Rams, and he was a Dodger fan. You got to remember back then, basketball wasn't as famous as it is now. I mean, think about it. The finals were on tape delay. Tape delay. That means they played at 3. It didn't come on until 5.
That's crazy.
Okay. All right. So I'm about 7 years old. So, I started really recognizing these games, and my dad would talk and have the radio on. And it was 1968, and they had the Fearsome Foursome. Oh. They had Rosie Greer. Who's the sack leader? Deacon Jones.
Deacon Jones, man. He invented the term sack.
Yeah, and that's right. Merlin Olsen, and they had another guy. His name's
Lundy.
Right, yes.
Lundy.
And that defense. Now keep in mind, I didn't see the Rams. We listened to the Rams.
Oh man.
There was no ESPN.
I love it.
And their local games didn't play in California. You saw the Bengals versus the Steelers. You saw the Cowboys versus the Washington Redskins. Oh, Washington Commanders.
Commanders.
Okay. So, that's what you saw here in East Coast. So you sort of kind of had this mythical imagination. And once your imagination, everybody's imagination is different. So you watch football much different than you do today, which I love the way they do football today.
So you hadn't seen a Rams game, or probably even seen much football, but you were listening, and they're in the Coliseum back then. And
yes.
When did you ever get to go to a Rams game?
No, never went to the Coliseum to see Rams. I did see him in Anaheim once I got a little older. I saw him in the late 80s, maybe. Yeah, late 80s, early 90s. Jerry Rice was still on the team, and I think he was close to the end. Montana had left, and it was Young was the quarterback. I think that year they won the championship, if I don't remember.
Yeah, it was the middle of the 17 games losing streak to those dreaded Niners.
Yeah. But it was a good game. But that was my first football game that I physically was, in the stadium. But the times that I got to see the Rams were playoffs. They would air the playoff games on Sunday on the local stations. And I got a chance to see the playoffs. Now, we didn't do too very well in most of those playoffs. This is the reason why I hate the Cowboys.
Good man. Good man.
Because the Cowboys would beat us all the time. So did the Vikings. It took me a while. I like Tarkenton, so I kind of eased off of him. I respect the Cowboys organization. I mean, how can you not? It's the same thing with the Dodgers. I'm not a Giants hater. I think that's a New York thing, in my opinion. But I hate those Yankees because they beat us in the World Series all the time.
I see your pattern. Yeah, I got you.
So, those Giants games they weren't on TV also, so, but when they went to the playoffs or the World Series, they're playing the Phillies or the Astros. They rarely ever played the Giants in a final game here in Los Angeles. That was all a New York thing, and they were much closer to each other. And you got to remember the Giants, with the exception when, let me see, in the 60s when the Giants and the Dodgers would battle, that was really the only time that, in my memory, that they actually were even. So when the Dodgers were good, the Giants were so-so. When the Giants were good, the Dodgers were so-so. So I think they tried to make that rivalry and bring it to California.
Yeah, it's probably the most unique rivalry because of that it traveled 3,000 miles. But I always tell fans who, we have so many 49er fans here in Los Angeles, Southern California. It's sickening. And I'm like, you guys hate the Giants in baseball. You hate San Fran in baseball, yet you cheer for them in football. What is wrong with you? I'm not saying you got to be a Rams fan, but for God's sake, you chose the 49ers. Figure your life out. That's just me.
Well, that's because of the Montana years.
I know. Bunch of front runners. That's where it comes.
Montana was on Mount Everest at that time, right? Yeah. And they were winning like crazy. And you got to remember, there's two generations of football fans that did not have a team here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So like my son's a Saints fan. You know why he's a Saints fan? Because he loved SC as a kid, and he loved
Reggie Bush.
Reggie Bush, yes.
Okay.
And when Reggie went to the Saints, he naturally went there too. So you got to say he was like 8 or 9 years old, and and he followed Reggie Bush to the Saints. And I go, well, Reggie played for other teams. Are you going to follow him there?
Yeah.
And
that's that new age of kid. Yeah. Like we're in this fantasy football world now where it's all about players and not teams.
Yes. Yeah, because I grew up, love the name in front of the jersey, not the one in the back.
Amen to that. I love that.
So
you were telling me, and I kind of looked it up a little bit here. The Rams in the 70s, some really good teams, and I think went to 4 conference championship games at some point in there. You were saying, I mean, your heart was broken repeatedly, not just by the Vikings, but the Cowboys.
We were so close so many times. It was very disappointing. And hey, I was a young kid, and I took the game. I would be mad as if I was playing.
Exactly.
This is my team, and blah blah blah. And we lost, and then we finally got to the Super Bowl, and we played the Pittsburgh Steelers in '79. I was like
at the Rose Bowl, right up the road.
Right up the road. And it was a good game until the end. And then the Steelers started to handle us, and we made a couple of bad plays, and we ended up losing that game. But I was happy to just get there. Part of me, I wanted to win, but I was really happy that we finally got to the Super Bowl after all these years.
Yeah, 74, 75,
Yeah.
76,
Yeah.
78, 4 conference championship losses, and then in 79, the 1980 playoffs, they finally win and get to that Super Bowl,
So
only to lose.
what are you trying to do? Make me walk away from this interview?
No,
Don't you know how
hey,
painful those things are for me?
I'm sorry. You know what?
If you look at it and see, no, don't be sorry. I'm just joking. Look at it and see. I think it was Cowboys and the Vikings we played the most.
In the conference championship,
Yeah,
Dallas. Yep.
The Cowboys,
Minnesota,
Dallas
Dallas again,
Dallas
Minnesota. So yeah,
Yes,
2 and
yes.
2, and then in the divisional round, there's Dallas again. There's Minnesota again. Wow. I see where the hatred comes from. I love it. Yeah.
So and that Cowboy team was just so darn good. They were so good.
That is so crazy. And then you get to the team of the decade there, the team of in the Super Bowl, the Steelers, that being, and to lose on the home field, close to home, kind of foreshadows us to where we're at now. Another AFC Central team, AFC North, in the home stadium this time. Rams are going to wear the white and the yellow, which they wore that day in Pasadena, which they wore in 2000 for their first Super Bowl victory in Atlanta. Yeah, the Isaac Bruce over the shoulder. Come on. Yeah. So I'm just ecstatic for so many reasons, man. Not only are the LA Rams back in a Super Bowl, which they were 4 years ago, but they're in one now. They're not going up against Tom Brady, even though Joe Burrow looks to be pretty good so far. And it's at their home stadium. When this dream started back in 2015, 2016, when they pulled out the shovels, I mean, you couldn't have written a better script, really, except for the Rams finishing here Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah. I mean, that game against the Buccaneers, I think I lost 5 years of my life right there. I'm actually 5 years older. I mean, we're up 27
to 3.
Yeah, 27-3. And my wife she's a Brady fan. So she was like cheering for Brady. And then when we started, laying it on him, I could see she was getting mad, and her comment was, "You're winning 27-3. Why are you so nervous?" I go, "Listen, we can easily screw this up. Okay, we got a whole nother half." And I told her, I said, just like we scored 27 in the first half, they can score 27 in the second half. This game is not over. And boy, like I said, I lost 5 years of my life.
I was fired up that first half, all emotion, couldn't believe it. And then same thing, keep scoring. And when you gave them a little life, I go, oh no, I've read this book too many times. It's Tom Brady. I
would have felt so much better if we wouldn't have fumbled just before the half. I think we were on the 2-yard line. Because then that would have been 4 scores. Mm-hmm. And 4 scores in 7 years ago. No. Yeah. and so 4 scores is pretty hard to come by. For any team. I don't care who you are.
But
so I would have felt really
Cooper Kupp, sure-handed Cooper Kupp, he fumbles. They sack Brady, fumble. They snapped the ball over.
And they snapped the ball? Oh, my God. I was like, how can what is going wrong? It's
Why, God? Why?
So all those flashbacks of the Cowboys and I remember when I think I want to say Pat Hayden, but it might have been Harris, James Harris, threw an interception. And number 22 for the Vikings did a pick 6 all the way down, man. And that was it. And I was just, that game was going through my head. And I was like, no, not again.
So they survived in Tampa Bay, Dale. What an ending to that game. How Cooper Kupp got behind those guys, and then Matt Gay with the field goal. I mean, I was like speechless almost when it ended. It was just like, did that all just happen? But man, Brady's final loss. That's got to be somewhat kind of feel good, right?
Yeah, I mean, Brady beat us. Brady beat us in our first Super Bowl against him and cheated. Well, the team cheated, not Brady cheated, which they came out later. But I'm gonna tell you this, and I really didn't have a team because they moved. So I was without a team, but I definitely cheered for them and was hoping that they would win, but not with the passion as when they were in LA. But when the whole team came out of the tunnel, I said, we're in trouble.
Oh, the Patriots. Yeah, instead of
The Patriots
introducing
whole team.
individuals. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, oh shit, we're in trouble.
Yeah, they're united. And
I
remember, that was right.
We're in trouble.
That was right after 9/11, and they were, really playing up the Patriots and and rightfully so. That's very cool. And they were definitely united.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah,
no one was going to beat them that day, I don't think.
no, they played a great game, and we kind of were flat a little bit, but they beat us there. And then we ended up playing the Patriots again, and both teams were horrible. We were just more horrible than they were. I mean, what is the score? 13-3, worst,
Yeah.
the lowest scoring. And you can look this up. I know the Colts played the Cowboys
It was
in
like a 6-3 game. That was
like
Super Bowl
field goal game.
5.
Yeah, I think it was all field goals. And they said on ESPN that it was the lowest scoring Super Bowl in our game. And I'm like, wait a minute, didn't they have a field goal game? I just don't remember what the score was, but I know it was a crap load of field goals.
Super Bowl 5. It was like the ugliest game.
Yeah. It was in Miami, if I remember correctly.
Very good, very good. And 16-13.
Oh, okay. So they must have, but the first half must have been a bunch of field goals.
Yeah. Yeah, but I do remember it was just ugly. So yeah, 13-3 is definitely the lowest scoring Super Bowl.
I think the Cowboys played one more time in their blues, and they've never went to a Super Bowl and played in their blues.
Oh, really? Look at you.
Yeah, I think they lost against the Dolphins, and they lost against the Colts, and they were wearing blue, and they haven't worn their blue ever since.
Superstitious, like us umpires in our umpire shirts.
Yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely.
So they take down Brady, and then it's the grudge match with those dreaded San Francisco 49ers at SoFi. You're hosting the NFC Championship with an opportunity to host championship game in your stadium and the Super Bowl. Great game. I thought it was a street fight, some hard hitting going on in SoFi that day, and a great comeback by the Rams, man, to score 13 straight to win it after being down 17-7.
Yeah. I was nervous. They beat us, 6 times in a row?
6.
And the last time they played us, I felt we could have won that game. And I'll tell you why. I thought Sean, every now and then, very smart guy. Great memory. I remember he was on one show, and they kind of questioned him about plays, and he could drum them up in his head, know what down it was and where they'd spotted the ball and who ran the ball, what was the play. So the guy has an awesome memory. I wish I had it. But sometimes I think he overanalyzes things. And we ended up running the ball 4 times in a row. And I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we mixing it up? All we need is a first down, maybe 2 first downs. We'd have killed the clock and the game would have been over. And then we would have had home court advantage throughout, because I didn't want to go to Lambeau, bro.
Oh, I was terrified.
Man, no. I could have kissed the 49ers on their ass.
Yeah, I know. I was kind of like the same way.
I was rooting for the 49ers. I'm sorry.
I don't want to play these guys, but
I was rooting for the Rams, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, I do. And then if they beat them, oh my God, they come here. I was
rematch.
Like, yeah,
let's do it.
and they beat them. And I was like, yes. And my wife was very upset because she likes the quarterback for the Green Bay Packers. I'm starting to see a pattern here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Come on, Kelly. Come on.
Mhm.
Get behind the husband's LA team here.
Yeah, exactly. No, and she's from New York.
Oh, New Yorker. Well, there you go. You hate it.
Yeah,
You and the Yankees conversations must be crazy.
I totally screwed up there. I don't know what came over me.
You married a Yankee fan? Come on, Dave.
Yeah, she's a Yankee fan. Yeah.
Oh boy.
Anytime, just to give you, like, I give my wife a hard time all the time, every chance I could get. So when things get tough or it's cold or, the traffic or whatever's upsetting her at the time, I go, wait a minute, baby. You're from New York. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. I always tease her about that. And I say it just like that. If you can make it there, you can make it anywhere. So I don't want to hear your griping.
That's awesome, man.
She just told me to shut the fuck up right there.
Yeah. Your dinner's in the microwave.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Laced with poison.
Yeah. That's hilarious. So the Rams did it, man. They did it. They're headed to the Super Bowl. The Cincinnati Bengal team. Look, the Rams are favored, but the Rams cannot take this team lightly.
No.
They're playing with emotion. They got a top young quarterback. The dude has just got swagger. And the Bengals defense is no joke. Do not forget about the Bengals defense.
Absolutely.
Pretty much shutting out the Chiefs in the second half twice.
Yeah, Joe Burrows, that dude has ice veins. You talking about ice veins? Did you see what he was wearing on the way to the game?
Yeah.
Oh, that dude was pimped out, bro. I was like, dude, I would love to have that out. He had the turtleneck. He had the little fur coat or partially furred. He had the nice gold chain with I was like, and he's had his hair done and had the good sunglasses. I was like, he's ready for Hollywood, man.
Yeah. You got the modern day Joe Namath going.
Yeah, dude, I'm telling you. Oh, man. Joe, I don't know if you ever seen Joe Namath play. Did you?
Just some highlights.
Even in college,
Oof.
Joe Namath was like, in college, he was like Michael Vick in college.
Wow.
Until he hurt his knees. If he would have played in NFL like that back then,
wow.
That's how good Joe.
I love the documentaries on him.
Don't believe me, Google
it. Yeah, Broadway Joe was something. But Burrow is the real deal. And he's got that team believing. Joe Mixon, their running back, is kind of was quiet the past few years, but he's exploded. I mean, that team believes. And dude, they've beaten the Raiders, who weren't all that good. They beat the Titans, who were darn good, and they beat the Chiefs, who were amazing. So any Rams fans thinking, it's a cakewalk are sorely mistaken.
Oh, hell no. I mean, I watched that before the championship game, the division series. I think they had how many? 6 games? 4 games? How many games?
Six games on divisional weekend.
So the first one was
4 games. 4 games. I'm sorry.
4 games. Yeah. The first one was the Titans and the Bengals, and my daughter calls them the Beagles. I go, that's a dog. Okay, it's not a tiger. She says the Beagles. So they're playing the Titans, and that was the first game of that on Saturday, and I was like, honey, this is probably the best game this whole weekend. I'm like, wow, this game is awesome. And it turned out to be the worst.
Which says something.
I mean, that was the best week of football that I've seen in a long time. Football's got it figured out, bro.
Dude, they do.
When it comes to parity, they got it figured out.
Yeah, 1 day a week, really, to commit and watch your team for 3 or 4 hours. They got teams. I mean, the Bengals are in the Super Bowl. I mean, this is similar to, remember in 99, I know you do, when the Rams came out of, they were terrible in the 90s.
Yes.
Terrible. They come out of nowhere, and go and win the Super Bowl. It feels like that with the Bengals, a team that's consistently been a joke. 31 years without a playoff win. I heard this stat yesterday, Dale. The Rams have been to more Super Bowls in the last 4 years, than they've had winning seasons between the years 2002 and 2016.
Right.
15 years, 14, whatever that is.
In the Super Bowl era, yes.
Of no winning seasons. We're talking about going 9-7, like not getting to 9-7 for 15 years. That's why we have no hair left.
Yeah, hello. And you notice mine is gone, and you have speckles of yours. Okay, all right.
I know, but you're smooth, man. You're just got
well, I try to make it, look halfway decent.
So, but yeah, man, like the Bengals, and then not get a win in 31 years to put together 3 wins and be in the Super Bowl. Look at, they're believing, and they are gonna come out to fight and scratch and claw. And I hope the Rams are ready for another kind of street fight like they had with the 49ers.
Well, I'm an LA guy, born and raised here. Anything that says LA in front of it, I'm a fan of. All right. So I was 10 years old when the Lakers won in 72. It kind of tells you how old I am. And the Dodgers were winning in the 60s. I was a little kid, so I don't remember those. My favorite pitcher of all time is Sandy Koufax, and never seen him pitch. That's how bad that dude was. So so they were winning in the 60s, but the Rams always let us down. They just couldn't punch it in. And the Lakers were in the finals a bunch of times, and they couldn't punch it in. But they were there all the time. So you had hope that one day they would, score, and they finally did it in 72. And then when Magic got there, we just went on the tear. So we were winning with the Dodgers. Because the Dodgers were awesome back in the 70s. They went to 2 World Series back to back. They went to 1 in 74 against the A's. They lost twice against the Yankees, and then in 81 we beat the mighty Yankees after losing 2 games. And then we were always in that division series, and the Cardinals beat us a few times to get up there, but we were always in the mix with those 2 teams, the Lakers and the Dodgers, and the Rams was just always let down,
And it's LA, as you cheer for teams that say LA in front of them, which is what a concept. But they kind of just drifted away. If you don't stay relevant in Los Angeles, there's other things. There's 2 of everything here. There's 2 of every team, and there's beaches and mountains and skiing and whatever you want to do. Yeah. So if you don't stay, I told people when the Rams came back, I said, give it a couple years. I said, you guys don't get it, because I went to games as a kid when I was, 7, 8, 9 years old. Yeah. And I remember how blown away I was by the NFL. And I told a lot of my friends and said, you guys didn't grow up with the NFL. Wait till the NFL comes back to LA. Wait till it's the Rams, and the Rams of old, who kind of, I think it'll take some time. I don't know if it'll ever not be a Laker city first, but I think the Rams could be right up there as like a 1A, 1B eventually.
Now, time out. So let's talk about cities. You brought it up. This is a Raiders town, bro. I don't care what you could take a rock and throw it, and you're gonna hit 4 Raiders on the one throw. And then after it hits the 4 Raiders and it bounces off of them, you're gonna get 2 49ers on that same throw. Mm-hmm. That's how many. The Rams and the Chargers are gonna have to do some really hard work to get these fans.
I think the Chargers have a taller mountain to climb.
Yes,
because
absolutely.
They were only here 1 year before, and they're the San Diego Chargers. I still call them that. The Rams, this is LA's first pro team, and I think you have a lot of history with the older generation who followed the Rams before. What I think it's going to take, to your point, for the younger people, the younger generation, is for the Rams to constantly be in the Super Bowl hunt. Maybe not in it, but in the hunt. For everyone to be like, you know what, this is LA's football team. I'm going to jump on board too.
Yeah. I mean, and those young kids with see them in the Super Bowl. This is our second Super Bowl in 3 years?
4 years.
4 years.
Seasons.
Thank you. In 4 seasons. So that's a good thing. But we're gonna have to keep going back. We're still gonna have to keep fighting for that. So when I was a kid, the Bulls, there was no Bulls fans here in Los Angeles.
There shouldn't be.
No one was talking about the Bulls in the 60s, the 70s, and then partially in the 80s. When they started winning in the 90s, Bulls jerseys came out of the woodwork.
Shocking.
Everybody had the Jordan shoes, the Jordan jersey, a Bulls shirt, a Bulls hat. And then now that they're gone and they're not the top dog, I don't see him anymore. Where'd you go?
Where'd you go? Come on, what happened? Where's your loyalty?
But now I see the Patriots jackets, Patriots hat, Patriots flags, Patriots. So there's a lot of bandwagoners.
Oh, bandwagoners left and right. Bandwagoners and front runners all over this city. The LA is the worst because there's so many transplants, but still, I respect you if you're from somewhere and root for someone else. I wouldn't have it any other way. If I move someday, I'm still an LA fan. That's where I'm from. But these people that they love the Dodgers and then root for the Patriots. Like, this is LA. You're supposed to hate Boston. You're supposed to hate San Francisco. You're supposed to hate New York. What is wrong with you people? Why am I the lunatic? I don't understand this damn.
Absolutely, man. I mean, and people don't understand. I was telling my son and his friends, they're like, I have several TVs in my backyard. It's like a sports bar, and I have the package, so we watch all the games. I have all the games on at once. So the first 6 weeks, we can have eight or 9 games, right?
You've come a long way from listening to a radio in the corner when you
now
you got them all.
Dude, I'm hooked in now because I get to actually see the guys that it's much easier to do back from when I was a kid. And I tell the kids that they're so lucky. But so the Vikings one of my son's friends is a Viking fan. The other two are Saints fans. I have an Eagles fan. There's a Charger fan. There's some Cowboy fans. They're everywhere. And it's a few other teams. And their team's not doing well. And they get all mad. Oh, F that team, man. I'm tired. And I don't want to look at them. I go, bro, that's the part of being a fan. It's going through the misery.
Yes.
You got to go through the misery. You can't just have good times all the time. It's a roller coaster. When you're on a roller coaster and you're at the bottom, you're going, oh shit, I can't wait to get to the top. And when you get to the top, you're afraid to go back down. That's the fun of it. So just because your team is not doing well this year, don't give up on them. Yeah, you can get mad, you can get frustrated, but that's your squad. You got ride or die, baby.
Yeah.
Ride or die.
Preaching to the choir, my man.
I like it. And then you jump, and then you jumping onto another team. I like you. You're a Falcon fan. Stay with your squad.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you, man. You gotta tell me. I mean, all the misery I've been through with the Rams. That's why I get all crazy when they do well, because I've been through so much of them losing constantly, and a handful of moments where they've been good and in the mix, and they're one win away from Super Bowl championship. It makes it even sweeter. And I hate the teams when they lose it. I'm sorry, the Lakers are the worst at this, Lakers fans, but
Absolutely.
the Niners are a close second. The Cowboys, every time they lose, oh yeah, well, we have so many championships. It's like, this isn't a Jeopardy question of how many championships you have. We're talking about the game that is occurring now.
Yeah.
The Rams, people want to say, oh, you won one Super Bowl, but Dale, I got to tell you, they got 3 world championships. Remember Super Bowl era? They switched the name.
Yeah.
Rams won a world championship.
That's why I said the Super Bowl era. Yeah.
World championship in Cleveland, world championship in LA, 1951, and a world championship in St. Louis.
They won in 45, yeah. When they first came over here, they won a championship in Cleveland in 45, and they moved here in 46. And
50.
here's a trivial question, and a lot of people don't know. I love sports. I read about them all the time, and I love the history of sports.
Yes, sir.
Because it's one thing that sports and it doesn't matter what it is. I don't care if you're a male, female, white, black, Hispanic, Asian, or whatever you are. When you play sports, it's about your talent. And it's undeniable. So if I jump higher than you, it's not because I'm black, it's not because I'm white, it's because I'm better than you. If I run faster than you, it's because I'm better than you.
Yeah.
There's, and it's hard to tell who's smarter than each other, but if I run faster than you, I'm faster than you, period. It's just boom. So if I told you, we talked about the first African-American to enter a sport, to break a color barrier, who comes to mind?
Jackie Robinson.
Jackie Robinson.
However,
yes, go on.
Go ahead.
So Kenny Williams or Kenny Washington. 1946. Jackie was 48, I believe. Yeah, 48, 47, 48. He was the first African-American to play for the Rams, and the Dodgers were the first one, and they're both LA teams. That's something to be proud of.
Absolutely.
Not many people didn't know that and talk about that.
No, and people forget so much history with the Rams. The Rams, again, LA's first pro team. I always remind people of that.
Yeah.
Oh, they're from Cleveland. I'm like, the Dodgers are from Brooklyn. The Lakers are from Minneapolis. Don't give me that.
You got to remember, anything past this Mississippi, there was no teams here.
No. So, but LA, the first black player, Kenny Washington, LA's first pro team, the first team to put a logo on their helmet.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Very first team.
The horns?
Yep, the horns. That was the very first team of as a matter of fact, when you go to the Hall of Fame, one of the old like leatherhead helmets is there, and it says, and it tells the story. But yeah, the LA Rams. Maybe it's
that's cool.
Rams, I don't remember. First team to have a logo on their helmet. That was like, why are you putting something on your helmet? Now everybody does it.
Yeah.
So much history there. And you're right, man. It's something to be proud of for a lot of reasons. Dale, what would an LA Rams Super Bowl championship in Los Angeles mean to you as someone who's been a lifelong Rams fan, someone who grew up in LA? What would it mean to you, Super Bowl Sunday?
Great question. I'm going to tell you, we haven't won. The Rams have not won as an LA Ram. So that'd be the Super Bowl, right? Even in the they did have the championship here with, I think, Norm Van Brocklin, if I remember correctly.
Crazy Legs Hirsch, Norm Van Brocklin. But in the Super Bowl era, we haven't gotten it done here as a Ram. That would be the first and foremost. The second thing, let's party, baby. Yeah.
Already go. Come on, I've been waiting for this party for a very, very long time. All right. Come on. The Dodgers has come through for me, and the Lakers have come through for me. Even the Kings have come through. Amen. Come on, man. I'm ready to party.
Yeah, I love it. We got to get those Coronas on ice, and let's do it. Let's go until we're out.
And then we finally get the trifecta, as a Ram fan. I know the Raiders won one here, and that was great. I had a lot of fun when they did it. I was a Raider fan because, my Rams had already left. It was something to cheer for, but then they left. So I was without a team. So I would love to have that trifecta, a hockey team, a basketball team, a baseball team, and now another football team to have the championship here, because there's quite a few cities that have that. New York is one of them.
Yeah, it would be a superfecta.
Yeah,
A superfecta. I think that's the term in horse racing. I need to double
when
check that.
when you win 4.
When you go 4, yeah.
Yeah.
Trifecta is 3 and super is 4.
Trifecta is 3, yeah.
I'll have to check my
Superfecta.
sources on that. I'm not totally positive. But anyway, yeah, let's party. Come on, Rams. Come on, please, Rams. And I am not greedy. I would love them to go on a run and have all the. I just want one. Give me one in SoFi, and I can live the rest of my life with bragging rights and just joy. And although more would be cool too. But
yeah, well, I like my Super. If the Rams can go this year and win it, I would like my Super Bowl like my beer, one after another.
you always got the quotes and the analogies, and this is why you and I get along so well. Go Rams, man. Can't wait. We'll be chatting, I'm sure, more. But Dale, let's talk about a couple other things. Where you grew up in LA. I know you played some ball with some guys that kind of went on to pretty big things, and then we'll get into umpiring too. But tell me where little Dale Gardner grew up and some of your days as an adolescent and high school kid.
Well, I grew up in South Central LA. You probably won't know the streets, but people who lived in the area will know. I lived off of Western in Normandy and Florence and Manchester. So those are the 4 major intersections, and I sort of lived in the middle of that on 81st Street and Dinker, and it had a lot of fun as a child. When I grew up, the area wasn't as rough as it was in the 80s with the crack epidemic. It was really, really bad. I mean, I'm in my early 20s, and a lot of my friends I grew up succumbed to that, and there was a lot of gang activity. But I was always into sports. Never did drugs, never joined a gang. Never, I was like, nah, bro, jail life is not for me, man. So I always steered away from that, and sports really helped me to do that. I went to Crenshaw High, and when I went there, they had a plethora of great athletes there. Darryl Strawberry is one, Chris Brown. You had Gary Malunson, the year I graduated from high school. You had Marcus Johnson went there before I got there, but he was an alumni, and I think he was 72, 73.
The basketball player?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marcus Johnson. Okay.
Yeah, he played for Milwaukee, and then for the Clippers for a little bit. His son actually played for Crenshaw for a little bit. But we were like the Lakers of high school basketball. Winning championship, city championships one after another. Like I like my beer. And our baseball team was really good. They played in 1980 at Dodger Stadium against Granada Hills, and John Elway was on the team.
Wow.
So yeah, he played third, and he came in and pitched a little bit.
And at the time,
so tell you what kind of talent that was back then.
Oh yeah. So at the time, John Elway's just a high school kid. You didn't know all the information you know about him later. What was your impression of him as and I want to hear about Darryl Strawberry too, but tell me, what was your impression of this guy at Granada Hills, who you saw this one time? You're like, oh man, this kid's pretty good.
Oh, you read in the newspaper, you hear the rumors, but when you see the guy and you go, wow, this guy's got talent. He was fast. He had quick hands. He had a great arm. My argument in the backyard with these kids is everybody gives, Brady right now, because someone else will come along. Just like when Joe Montana was the same thing. The greatest of all time. And I say, okay. I said, does he throw the furthest football? No. Is he the fastest quarterback? No. Can he scramble? No. Is he smart? Yes. Can he read defenses? Yes. But there's a lot of quarterbacks that can do that. So I've always said, and I am not a Broncos fan, I said, if God made a quarterback, it would be John Elway, because that dude can do it all and all great. He had a rocket forward arm. He could throw through your body. He can run. He could scramble. He read defenses great. And you do not have that kind of skill and come back from games that I've seen him come back. Now, can Brady come back from games? Absolutely. That dude was amazing. But talent-wise, couldn't touch John Elway's talent.
Interesting.
In my opinion.
No, I remember growing up watching John as he was kind of on the tail end of his career there. And did you guys limit him at the plate that day in Dodger Stadium?
No, man, they ended up beating us.
Oh,
yeah, I don't think we were ever in the hunt, but it was a fun experience. I think they finally won a championship from baseball a few years ago, if I'm correct, but we haven't been there. I mean, I don't even know if you know Ellis Valentine. Play for the Expos. As you kids know, the Expos are not around anymore. They're actually another team, but they used to be in Canada. So he played for the Expos, and he was one of their top players, but he went to Crenshaw High too.
Wow. So how old was Darryl Strawberry?
He was a grade ahead of me.
Okay. So you guys played on the same team then?
No. I was on the JV team for a little bit, and then my grades weren't good, so I got kicked off of the team. But we would have batting practice. I remember one day it's on a Saturday, and I don't know whose car it was. I think it was Strawberry's, but he had this long station wagon. It was blue, if I remember. And I'm sitting on Western and 54th, waiting for the bus to go on a Saturday, I believe. Yeah, it was a Saturday, to go practice baseball. And he pulls over and he sees me, and it was him and a couple of other guys. And I jumped in the car and we went up there, and I used to throw BP to him. And I want to say Eric Davis was in the car, but you know what? I don't 100% remember. I know because they played in at a park near my house as a kid, and I played in Inglewood, so I knew that. But you got to remember, they're not famous yet. No,
they're just guys. They're just guys.
You don't know what's going to happen, so they're just another guy.
But there had to be, especially his senior year, there had to be a lot of media starting to come out. I mean, one of the best things I've watched, ESPN does some great docs. I love the Doc and Darryl documentary. It was phenomenal. And some of the high school footage of him. And you must have been not far from him.
I'm going to tell you something.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you could see it again. Maybe it's gone forever. I don't know. I believe it was Channel 5 or 11. Right? I'm throwing BP. They have all the scouts there, and they have the news, and they're talking about Straw. Straw was really popular, right? So Coach Hurst comes up, and then I'm throwing BP to the guys, and they're talking and they're interviewing Strawberry, and he comes up to bat, and then Coach Hurst says, hey, throw a strike down the middle. I threw a strike down the middle, and he hit the ball dead center over there was a building for continuation. So if I guess you didn't graduate or you were behind your school, you'd have to go to this building to go to those classes. He hit it over the building. And he ran around the bases. So somewhere I got this fro and my cap is on, and I throw this pitch. And a friend of mine said he saw it. I'd never seen it.
Oh, really?
But he saw the interview on the news. And he said he saw me throw the pitch.
I got to go back and watch it now. There.
I don't know where it's at, but it is me.
That is great. So you grew up with these guys. Strawberry has a great career.
Right. And Strawberry, and I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah. Strawberry we went to St. Junior High together too. Horseman.
Oh, no kidding.
High, yes. We were in the
Wow.
same class. Like, again, he's just another dude at that time.
You gotta rub some of that talent out of him, Dale. It could have been the big leagues, man. Or his BP.
I was not that good.
You're the perfect batting practice pitcher, right down the middle.
I could throw strikes, but I didn't throw hard enough.
So was it weird when you fast forward, whatever that is, 8 years or so, to when the Dodgers and Mets are playing in the '88 NLCS? Was it weird rooting for your Dodgers going up against one of your former teammates?
Well, Straw was cool. I've never had a problem with Straw, but I'm not going against my Dodgers. Come on, bro.
Yeah.
I like you. You're a good dude, but I mean, I'm invested in the Dodgers way before I met you. I'm talking about, I've been a Dodger fan since '69. I remember when I first saw Russell. Bill Russell. Russell. And he was in center field in the spring training. He wasn't a shortstop yet.
Wow. So you saw the Dodgers win in '88. Again, Strawberry has some amazing years in New York. What was it like? I was so young. I was, 6 or 7. And when Darryl Strawberry came back to LA and signed with the Dodgers, what was it like? Not just the city, but for you guys that knew him at that time.
Oh, the media was amazing. Actually, and then they had, I think they signed Eric Davis shortly after that. So you had ED and Straw. Butler was in the outfield and center or right. I can't remember exactly where. Because Straw was 44. Butler was 22 and ED was 33. I remember that. I don't know why I remember that.
That's awesome.
It didn't work out. I mean, he went through his personal problems. He had a little slump there, and I don't know if he was hurt or not. They had a good team. I'm trying to remember the pitching of that team.
It's hard to. They weren't the '88.
No,
they weren't the team of the '80s. The Dodgers kind of started to decline there.
Yeah, and Lasorda was old school. I mean, the managers are so much different from that generation. You show up late to a game, that was highly, it was highly looked upon as,
The managers had more control back then, more of not just control of their guys, but they were given more control by the organization. Now they're just like, they write names down on paper. That's cool, man.
When you're paying a guy $27 million a year or some crazy number like that, or $50 million a year, I'm sure he's got a lot of say-so of how things are going to be run off.
No, there's no doubt. There's no doubt about it. So we talked kind of briefly about your 20s after high school and everything, and Soul Train. You I don't know if you were involved in sports or not in your adult years, and then you discovered you stumbled upon this umpiring profession. Dale, maybe after working and doing other jobs and such, tell me about kind of life after your 20s and how you discovered this crazy world of umpire. Unless you have something else first, go ahead.
No. Hold on, I'm gonna show you something.
You're gonna show me something. The big man stepping away. This is why people need to watch the show on YouTube, because we have some visual effects. Here he comes. All right. What do you got, big man?
I'm back. I'm sorry about that, guys. So I stopped playing sports, started working, doing like whatever, guys do, making money and living in an apartment and hanging out and having fun in my youth. When I got to about in my late 20s, I wanted to play baseball again. So I started playing softball. You know those days when you're playing softball, and, you don't have to run 60 feet and high pitch or low pitch or whatever, and you're having fun. So I had a friend of mine who actually played for the Giants, tried out for the Giants, made the team, and then he got cut later. He told me that he was going to play baseball. and one of the guys that was on the team actually was going to start a team to play baseball. I was like, wow, I haven't played baseball in a long time. I used to pitch. And the guy goes, "You're a pitcher?" So, I go, "Yeah." So then he had a baseball and we started pitching a little bit. And I haven't thrown a baseball in a long time. So I ended up, and this is leading into how I umpire. So I ended up playing baseball, right, for this adult league, right? And adult leagues at that time were kind of just getting off the ground, and they were organizing, and MSBL was the big thing back then because it was just starting out. And I wanted to show you a picture of me playing in the league.
Yes.
And the name of the team was the Twins, the Minnesota Twins, right?
Okay.
Right. So here's a picture of me, and I'm probably 29. No, I was 30. I was 31. That's right, because it's 30 and over league. I forgot about that. I was 31 years old. All right. You ready?
Yeah. This
is a picture of me.
Wow. You look like a minor leaguer, dude. Look at, okay, for those not watching on YouTube, he's got he's pitching. He's in the middle of his delivery, and his knee is about at his forehead with his.
And look how skinny I was, man.
Dang.
Damn, I would love to be that skinny again.
Look at Sharp. Okay, got the stirrups on.
I got the stirrups on with
that's some flexibility, man. You're a tall dude. You're 6'5" or whatever. You get your leg that high.
Yeah,
6'6".
Yeah.
Woo.
Yeah. So okay, the guys on the team, and this is how I got. They used to call me the Cobra. One dude, because I look like a snake, like the leg looked like a snake, and the head, and I would always have this high leg kick.
I see it.
So that's me at 31 years old.
Wow, the Cobra.
And this game is in what is it, Glendale?
Oh, okay.
Glendale High School.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah, so we had a game at Glendale High School. So that's
awesome, man. You'll have to send me that one for that I can post for your upcoming episode here.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So so I did that for a while, and then I just got tired of, and I managed a team, and I just got tired of babysitting grown men. I had to collect money and get the uniforms and to deal with it. I want to bat first. It's like little children. I'm like, bro, you're not that good. I got so and so to run circles around you. You want to bat first? Yeah. No, it's not happening. So I just got tired of it, and then I started having kids, and it just got a little overbearing. So I stopped playing ball, and this was like, say, 2003. Okay. I stopped playing ball probably 2001. Okay. It was my last adult baseball game. So I'm sitting at home, drinking beer, getting fat, watching all the baseball and football games, and then just taking care of kids, changing diapers, doing all the family thing. I had 3 kids in diapers at once.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oof. It was a nightmare, but okay. So my friend calls me up, and his friend was an umpire, and he hurt his back. Okay. So he calls me up. He goes, so the guy says to my friend, you have a friend that wants to umpire. We need an umpire. So he calls me up, and he says, hey man, my friend hurt his back and they need umpires. Would you be interested in an umpire? I go, umpiring? Why would I want to do something like that? It was like you put a tart in my mouth, and I'm like, umpire. So, like I just bit into a lemon. I'm like, man, I don't want to umpire. He goes, listen, it's believe it or not, it's $25 a game. You do 4 games, you can make $100. He says, and this is what got me. He says, you're not doing anything, you're sitting on the couch and you're getting fat. Fuck you. So and I went, yeah, I am getting pretty fat here. And I says, well, I could do it on Saturdays. So I gave in. So I go to the park and I meet his friend at the park. I hope the story is not too long.
It's an adult league, right? Still?
Yes, it's called the Estaca League. It's
okay.
Just to give you an idea how the league was. The league I played in, we had infield grass. It was a real diamond, everything was chalked off. It was ran professionally. This league, the umpires had to chalk the lines, the foul lines. We had to supply the bases. We had to drag the field, and it was all dirt. And sometimes they had a mound, and sometimes they didn't have a mound, but most of them had no mound. So we had a softball field, and we're playing baseball. So it was pretty easy. So I went out there with the guy, and he showed me what I had. So this is you're gonna laugh at that. So if you're an umpire, this is gonna be kind of funny to you. So he hands me this mask. It was burgundy. He hands me the balloon, dingy black balloon, and he gave me leg guards where were burgundy also. It was catcher's gear, right? It would be like catcher's gears for, let's say, the Philadelphia Phillies, because they have a burgundy in their jersey, right? Their uniform. I bought some steel-toe shoes. I went to JCPenney's and got some khakis and the old blue shirt, the button-down blue shirt.
Oh yeah.
So I was a player pretending to be an umpire. Didn't know the slot, didn't know that. I stood behind, I was on one knee. I didn't, one knee calling balls and strikes. And it snuck up on me, bro. I loved it. It snuck up on me. It was like that ugly girl.
Here we go.
That she's kind of cute, but you be like, and then she just has this great attitude and does everything for you and end up falling in love with her. It was like that. You know what I mean?
You always have a way of piecing things together, man.
You're like, but some of them it was like, I think I like this girl. I think I like umpiring.
Yeah.
So then I go, and the cool part about that was that league, that Hispanic league, they had no breaks. They'd play on Christmas Day. They would play on Easter. They'd play on Thanksgiving. They would play. And as soon as the season was over, the teams that made the playoffs, right, would do the playoffs. But the teams that didn't would play the starting of the regular season. So it never stopped. The only thing that stopped them was rain.
So you're making money.
Yeah. So $100 every Saturday.
Oh, 4 games in a day.
Of course, my wife loved that because it was going straight into her pocket.
And you were away.
I was away.
Go make me money.
Diapers at least on one day.
There you
go.
So
it was pretty cool. And then so then I was like, I want to do this. I want to do high school. So 2006, I called a couple of guys that I called a couple of assigners that I knew from playing adult ball who assigned at those adult ball games. And Lou Smith and Al Walters. And I got a hold of Al Walters first. Then eventually got a hold of Lou. So I was in the LA unit and the South Bay unit. And then a season after that, I got into the San Fernando unit. So I was in 3 high school units at the same time.
Wow.
So I got a lot of games.
Yeah.
I would get, 10 there, 10 here, 10 there, and I would probably like 30 games in a season, which is a lot of games for high school. And just loved it. Just loved it more. And just started doing that. And then in 2006, before my first season, Compton had the Urban Youth Academy, where all the big league guys came for the very first 5-day camp.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I was one of the students, and I got a scholarship to do that. Didn't know shit about rules. I thought I did. I thought I knew rules. I mean, I met Ted Barrett. I met tons of people. I had so much fun. It was a blast. And it made me love baseball umpiring.
You loved it even more. And I'll say this, Dale, had you not started so kind of late in life, as far as umpire years go, there's no telling where you could have taken this thing, but you got a later start than most guys.
Yeah, dude, listen, I started umpiring at 45 years old. I'm 102 right now. So I'll be 60 next year. Okay. So I didn't start till my mid to late 40s. And if I would have went to pro school, I would not had a Soul Train deal, because that's when I would have had to go to pro school.
Yeah.
No. And I think things were a lot different back then in pro school. Things are much more structured now for the young guys than it is back then, listening to some of the older guys. But I think I would have been, if I'd have been good enough, smart enough, mature enough, and a lot of enoughs, I would have been in that class with that 99 class, because those guys are my age. The one right before the strike thing, when they walked out, and then all those minor leaguers went up. I think that was 99, right?
99, the 99 strike is when it used to be NLAL. That all changed. And
anyway, so I would have been part of that class if I would have all those.
You got some great encouragement from guys to, hey, keep pursuing this thing. You jumped into the college scene, started working college ball, working JC, Division III, Division II, eventually get to Division I. What you and I have had a ton of great stories from every time we get together. Something crazy happens. We always have a good time. Making fun of each other, making fun of our other partner usually. What was it like getting into college baseball? And did you still have that attitude of when you started adult league? Like, hey, I like this. I want to keep doing this. Yeah.
So I went to the camp in 2006. So my first high school year was 2007. And then I had a friend, a mentor of mine, that got into college baseball in 2007. I was like, you doing, you can umpire college baseball? And so I tried out in 2008 and made it. So I had 1 year of high school, and now I'm doing my first year in college. So I knew I was, an older guy. So, I just dove right into it. And then after that, I just started moving up the ladder, doing community college baseball, Division II, Division III, and then eventually Division II. Did that for a while, and then the end of 2014, I got picked up by 2 conferences. Dale Williams in the Big West and Tom Hyler in the WCC, and I had both of those that year. So 2015 was my first inauguration in the Division I.
Well, and we have a little bit of history, trivia, if you will. You and I were hired. We were among the last hires of Dale Williams. We were hired the same year.
Same year. That's right.
Honored to come into that conference together that same year in the Big West, and then eventually, the WAC and other conferences. But yeah, me, you, me, you.
It was Mylan Ayers. Yourself, me.
And Will Thornwell.
Will Thornwell. But Will, there was a minor leaguer though.
Yeah,
just like you were.
But
you guys were coming from the minor league. But I think he AA.
I think he was triple A. I can't remember, but he climbed the ladder a lot higher than I did. And but yeah, that was fun. And you and I, first of all, Dale, before we get into our stories, you've had a great umpiring career. You have umpired, been selected for countless Division II regionals, Division III World Series, national championship, I believe it's a time, maybe two.
NAIA World Series. Yeah.
NAIA, excuse me.
Yes.
Junior college, you've been in the regionals, and you're always in the postseason mix with those levels. And I don't care what level it is. Anytime you're selected for the postseason and the championship rounds, that's a tremendous honor for anyone officiating.
Yeah. A lot of times we were there together, bro. I mean, we got tons of war stories. I remember calling you and you calling me, and we would talk about things and try to sort of figure things out. And one of the things, when you are umpiring and you're working with the guys that you see a lot, you kind of feed off each other, and and it's not done in a negative way. At least I did never experience that. We're positive with each other, and we kind of helped each other to figure things out, and that just made the friendship stronger.
And disagreements are good because they would turn into these long discussions. And to go on your theme, it was one after another where the discussions got longer, and we enjoyed the discussions. The minor arguments would be like, it was just that's the beauty of it. And I speak from the heart here. In umpiring, when you see your schedule, when you see names on a list, you want to you want to be, oh, good, I'm with so and so today, not, oh no, I'm with him today. Yeah. I mean, you're a name I always saw. I was like, I don't care what the game is. The game's, we're gonna have a good time.
Yeah, that dude. I mean, that's one of the things that I try to tell guys is, a lot of especially if you go in the Division I series or even the Division II series, and you're gonna see this guy 3 days, maybe 4. Okay. And you want a guy that is not grumpy, that doesn't have an attitude, that only thinks about themselves. You want to have a guy that's, you're gonna hang around, you're gonna laugh, you're gonna joke. It makes the whole thing fun. Because when you get on the field, it's serious, right? And you want to get a guy, that this dude has got your back. He's got your back.
100%.
And sometimes you don't feel that way with everybody.
Because you step on that field, as soon as you arrive at the school, even, I mean, all eyes are on you. You have this negative comment. Oh, you're the umpires. People are not supposed to like you, and we know that going in. But yeah, you want to walk on the field together, united, and walk off that field together and united. And sometimes it's hard, man, when you're working with guys, you're just like, I'm on your team right now, but I am furious at you. You made my life harder. And so that's difficult, but it's so much fun when you're around guys you enjoy working the game with, joking in the locker room, afterwards, grabbing a bite to eat. And Dale, you and I have had a few war stories. I don't know where to start. We probably got to start at maybe Cal Poly series with Mike, game 1 of a doubleheader on a Saturday.
And I sent you the video, right? I sent you that video I got from that coach. Actually, he sent it to me.
My first college ejection, and it was crazy. But what's funny is some of the things we heard from the people in the stands. We laughed so much. Oh
man! And the cool part about it was, I I think the great part about it was after that game was over and we're in the locker room and we're laughing at it, you know, because not a lot of guys would laugh at it. They would get mad or, but you and I were actually thought it was funny as hell. And we're just laughing at it. We took it serious.
Yeah.
But then once the game was over, we just made a comic out of it. I don't know.
You're replaying it in your mind. You're thinking it over again. You're like, that was actually pretty funny. Like, you know, and so you just run with it.
So every now and then we would go, oh my God, he's on the plate next game.
Yeah,
we had there the three blind mice.
The three blind mice out there. This mom is Cal Poly Pomona, and we won't get into all the details, but as I called a check swing or there was an argument, whatever, I said no swing. I sent it down. I said no. Assistant coach comes running out, jumps over the railing. I said, hey, I threw him out. He loses his mind. You guys come down, get rid of him. And the stands are just losing their mind. And this mom in the front row, she sees you because in college baseball, you rotate, you know, from first to the plate. Oh my God, I can't believe it. You guys, he has the plate in the next game.
Yeah, it was a double header. Yeah.
You guys are the three blind mice out there.
And the fans are, some of the lines of some of the fans, man, there's times where I have to cover my mouth because I just want to laugh. Some of the comments,
it is a true art. But yeah, that was a good one. You know, we've been together for some games where we're just like, okay, cool, let's get out of here quick. And then something happened. Where were we? Was it Biola? Where there was some oh, that was your ejection.
Yeah, that was my ejection. So yeah, it's dude, man, it's just, I mean, to be honest with you, you know, I kind of enjoy those tough moments. I mean, you don't enjoy them when they're happening, but when I look back on them and the memories of it, that's the stuff that I'll remember. I really, playoffs, all that other stuff, it's the interaction between the umpires and my partners that I'm going to remember. All the times that we're sitting with beer in our hand and talking about plays and rules and situations and this guy and that guy, and watching games and sort of picking major league guys apart or giving them great compliments of how they handled certain things. It's just the whole genre of that. When I stop, I'm really gonna miss.
Oh man, it's the moments and the memories really are what make it. And like you're saying, in the heat of the battle, it's not a laughing matter. You're just you're trying to get the job done. You're trying to work with people that are heated. You know, when emotions run high, what's the saying? When emotions run high, intelligence runs low, or something of that nature. And so you have to stay flatline. You can't get too up. And so, but then later on, you kind of, when you replay things, you're like, you start laughing, or like maybe laughing about what the thing, you know, Dale said this on the field to this coach, you know. I think someone was yelling at you once and from the dugout, and then you said, hey guys, knock it off. And then you were like, we weren't talking to you or whatever. And you said, I can't turn my ears off. I can't turn these off, guys. If you're saying it, I'm going to hear, you know. It was a great line because it got straight to the point.
Right.
So all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah. And you know what? I think we did a great job. We never had blinders on. You and I, when we worked together, and there's quite a few other guys are like this, we handled everything. You know, you said something, we're going to say something back. We handled it. And which you and I come up with these great lines that would get our point across without being, you know, because the baseball umpiring has changed a lot. You know, they want you to be more sympathetic and understanding, but they don't have to. So I always tell guys, if they're here, we have to be down here. And if they come down, we come down. So we can never match or go high.
not
and
super low, but like stay close to it.
Yeah.
But I always think,
Always.
you don't want to be the guy. This used to be, guys would walk on the field with this badge on their chest. Look at me. I'm in charge today. This is me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have that in personality.
Yeah.
I just want to be left alone. And that's one of my things. You leave me alone, I'll leave you alone. I'm not going to get involved in your business. You don't have to like every call I make, but let's do so respectfully. Let's, if you have a point, sometimes you tell, look, yeah, that was a good point. You're right on that. Like, but just don't show me up and we're not going to have a problem. So I think
absolutely
treating people, right. Absolutely. Treating people is so important. You're very good at that. And how you are with people, you treat them like a human being and you demand that same respect.
Absolutely. And you got to remember, we're going back there next week or next year or next season or
tomorrow,
3 weeks from now or tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. So you gotta build this relationship, whether you like it or not, where there's this professionalism between the both of you and who's going to cross that line first. 9 times out of 10, they crossed it first, in my opinion. But it's my job to push them back toward that line, and how I do that is very important. And tone and attitude can do a lot of different things when it comes to how you present yourself. And to be honest with you, I got 5 kids. That has really helped me, having those five children with those 5 different attitudes. Sort of, it has helped me on the baseball field, how to deal with people, because a lot of times they act like little children. You
got 18 kids out there, and then the 4 coaches sometimes
sometimes the coaches. So and if you word things a certain way, you can bring them down. Like one of the things that I think you don't have to yell at me. I'll sit here and listen to you. Something like that. And the way you say it, usually, okay, all right, well, let me bring it down and I can calmly say something. And it works sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't. But those things are just, I'll never forget.
No, I miss working with you, man. And I was glad we got to do this. If you had to sum it up, what is it your umpiring experience? What has it given you? What is kind of the biggest takeaway you've had from umpiring all these years, especially at the college level?
Well, the main thing for me is how to deal with people. When I was a lot younger, that was a lot harder for me. I was more of a passive person. Wouldn't say anything if I felt I was treated wrong. I wasn't very confrontational as a child. I was raised by my grandparents. So here you got 60-year-old people. They never argued. I never had to fight with them. You know what I'm saying? So everything was perfect. There was no confrontation in my home at all. But baseball taught me how to make my point across. How to make this person understand my side of the story. That's taught me extremely a lot. And it helps with my wife and my kids now that they're in their 20s, because they're worse than coaches.
The umpiring part's easy now.
Yeah, I tell coaches, I've had coaches come up to me and go, "Man, I'm sorry for yelling at you, man. These kids are just, I'm more mad at them than you." I said, "Listen, man, you'll never beat any kind of argument that I'm getting from my wife. You'll never beat that." And they start laughing, and we have a good time. So humor, I've learned that, and things could be said through that. And base umpiring has taught me that, most definitely. And then the other thing, I never had a problem getting along with people. I've been always a jovial, happy kind of guy. But it's also taught me how to people that I really don't get along with, how to deal with them in a professional level. and what to say and what not to say and how to say it. I think I feel, and maybe, I don't know, this is my feeling about myself. I think I'm a good off the field umpire. I think I get along with pretty much everyone.
And ultimately, that's just being a person in this crazy world we live in of life. So I would argue and tell anybody, hey, you want to learn a lot about yourself and how to, be a better person, get involved in officiating, because you'll learn a lot about all that.
And that's the sad thing about it. The youngest generation doesn't want to do it. And I mean, we're getting older and older and older, and I don't know what all these sports are going to do if they can't find enough officials.
Yeah. Gotta get people out there. Dale, this has been fun, man. I appreciate you taking the time, going down memory lane and talking moments and memories, talking baseball, talking football. I'm so excited for the Super Bowl, man. Go Rams! And
Go Rams!
Next round's on you, my friend.
That's right. Always. Oh.
All that umpire.
Somebody's got to pay for the beer.
Might as well be you.
Yeah, might as well. Hey, I'm fine with that. One after another.
One after another, baby. Hey, I really hope I see you soon, and we can toast to a Rams victory. And if not, then we will be just drowning our sorrows. Either way, it'll be good to see you, man.
Yeah, good, great to see you there, Maddie. And let's say hello to Lady V for me.
Oh, I will. And, she misses some Dale Gardner, that's for
sure.
Yeah.
No, we got to hook up me and Jarbo somewhere. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah. You tell me, man.
We got it after the. I mean, I think this pandemic has gone down a little bit, so we can get together and have a few and maybe watch some football or something, or baseball. Something.
Yeah,
we'll find
college baseball season is starting for you and the rest of our comrades out there. So, good luck to you guys on the field. Enjoy the Super Bowl, Dale. And this has been a lot of fun, man.
All right, my brother. You take it easy.
Well, thanks again, Dale Gardner, one of my best buddies from college baseball. Just a blast chatting with him. I really do miss hanging out and working games with him, among some other people as well out there that, man, if I was assigned a game tomorrow, I would go out there and do it if I had the time, of course. But Dale's always a good time before the game, during the game, after the game. Miss working with him. Hopefully I will see you soon, Dale. Good luck on your college season, as well as all the other college umpires that are starting their seasons here in February. The Super Bowl is here. Our Rams are playing in it. We can't wait for that. But Dale Gardner, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully you guys really enjoyed that and got some insight on some LA sports history, but definitely some umpiring and the friendships and everything. There's a constant theme here, right? On the Get Home Safe podcast. Whatever you're doing, it's kind of about the journey, the moments, the friendships you make and everything. So Dale Gardner, have a good season, man. Great talking to you, and enjoy Super Bowl 56 here in Los Angeles. I hope we are celebrating a championship here soon, but those feisty Bengals are in the Rams' way. So we'll see what happens. Guys, thanks for joining us this week on the Get Home Safe podcast. Always appreciate it. I'm trying to keep these Friday episodes going with interviews. I got a nice list of some people recently that I'm going to try to reach out to some are Real Hondo Prep affiliated, some are not affiliated, just some great potential guests that I'm going to try to bring on the program here, as well as some, college baseball umpires, a lot of guys I know who have officiated other sports, but it is baseball season upcoming. So we're going to do more of that. A lot of big things here on the podcast. Of course, Tuesdays, it's just me rambling away about sports from the weekend, venting, talking about, the Super Bowl, NFL, talking about some college baseball upcoming, maybe some boxing, definitely some of the Olympics that are going on, especially hockey. So lots to talk about here in the next few weeks on Tuesdays. And then Fridays is our long form conversations. That's what we're doing for now here on season 3 of the Get Home Safe podcast. Time is flying, and I've enjoyed every second of this. Looking forward already to the next episode. So I will step aside, let you guys enjoy your weekend. Dale Gardner, thanks again, my friend. That was a blast. Guys, if you have any topics or content suggestions, please email me at gethomesafepodcast@yahoo.com. We appreciate all your support. Like, subscribe, all those good things at all the different various platforms. You guys keep this show worthwhile, and just appreciate all the support from you guys. So anyway, that's enough for me. Guys, enjoy your weekend. Go Rams, go Rams, go Rams. Can't say it enough. And guys, as always, no matter what you're doing, whether you're out on the town or rounding third base, get home safe.